Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm James, my pronouns are they and them.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine he and him.
And I'm Alistair, my pronouns also he and him.
Hey, the whole gang's back together.
And we all want to die.
And we all want to die.
Yeah. Some of us more than others, some of us for different reasons, but
no,
yeah.
I mainly want to kill you.
You too can achieve this level in 12 easy steps.
Or one easy movie. Or several easy movies.
120 awful minutes.
Yeah. We watched something that really needed 120 minutes to get to the point. There wasn't like endless volumes of content that could have been easily cut out of this.
Yeah, was anyone else at the like 1 hour and 15 minute mark where they were thinking, boy, there are 45 more minutes on this playtime?
I'm not joking, Alistair. I felt that way 15 minutes in. It was so bad.
Anyway, we watched, because we can't stop, we continued our exploration of the Big Jerry Race War cinematic universe. This time we watched Greenland, 2020's Greenland.
PP, poo-poo, it is a bad film.
Does anyone remember that film, 2012? Because this is basically that movie.
It's
a worse version. It's a worse version of Deep Impact, in my view.
I mean, the only redeeming feature, but like we'll get there in the movie, is that this movie features anti-Scottish racism, and like I support this wholeheartedly.
It doesn't. It doesn't is the thing.
I mean,
but we'll get there eventually.
After making me watch this, I will murder you in the back of a truck one day, David. That's just all I'm saying.
Fine, good, do it, please. Because this is the second time I've watched this film.
Sucker.
I just love the idea that even after they ban football and sporting events, there's still murder in the bus on the way to the stadium between two leftists. It's great.
Yeah, anyway, so we watched Greenland. It stars Gerald Butler. I think it has Monica Bellucci and some child and some other people in it.
Some child.
It has. We'll get to the child Bellucci. And why I don't like the child, but like,
yeah, it's not. You got the initials right, at least.
Yeah, it was close. Oh, that's Morena Baccarin from Firefly and some other stuff.
That's the one. Couldn't remember it. Also, couldn't be bothered to remember.
And also, yes, some child.
And also, because I know there's like a whole generation of weirdos out there who are like sort of seem to lick the carpet dry every time they see like anything related to Firefly. I'm just like not one of them, so go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so how this is going to happen is I am going to riff off exclusively my notes, which may or may not make much sense in terms of the actual plot. And if it doesn't make any sense, someone might jump in and someone might not. So that's how that's going to go. Anyway, we open up. We get like most of the like the intro stuff, like the production company credits, all that stuff, but we don't get the title card.
We get about fucking 12 separate title cards here.
I know.
For all the production companies.
Who the fuck was all involved with this?
For fucking ages.
Yeah.
It was like a fucking Monty Python bit.
It's the sign of quality when you've got to do several rounds of like investment funding in order to get your piece of shit over the line. Like, it's great.
Anyway, we cut to...
Nothing says the mark of quality like 17 separate marks of quality.
Yeah. See, I watched this on the computer. So as I started it up, I got like a piece of Amazon like IMDb trivia, and apparently it was originally going to be directed by I think the guy that did that. Is it whatever that film was where the big spaceships over Johannesburg and the like prawn people are running around?
District 9?
District.
Yeah, it was going to be that director and Chris Evans, and then they left.
Jesus.
And the next best thing was apparently these two dipshits.
The chimera that is fucking Gerard Butler and what's his face, Rick Roman War.
Yeah,
That's like instead of sending in your superheroes, you get in like the clay guys from the original Power Rangers and sort of stand around and go wooloo like that. Anyway, so we open up, like I said, before the title card of the movie even, after the many production companies, and what we see is Big Jerry Racewall doing building in a most masculine fashion. He's wearing a big hard hat. He's making, he's saying, put good at that.
He's also literally wearing a blue shirt. Like, he's blue collar all the way. Like, okay, sure, we get it. Subtlety is for other films.
Yeah, and then for some reason that I can't puzzle out, like they put the title card that says Greenland after that. I'm like, wow, that was an exciting opening. I understand why you put the title card there.
And the title card is just a black screen with the word Greenland written in I think it was equivalent like Korean U or something, bang smack in the middle in relatively small size. It's like their attempt to be like understated. We will let the film speak for itself, and boy does it.
Well, it's either that or it's just like doing an eye test in case you got blinded by your Bored Ape conference.
It speaks for itself much in the way that 4 minutes 33 seconds speaks for itself.
If only it did, David.
Yeah. Sued a lot of people on YouTube, have they?
Anyway, like the next thing we see is him driving home most Americanly in his very American big truck car. And we hear on the news that there's a big comet incoming, or a celestial object is hurtling close to Earth, and so far the news is saying, well, it's going to just be a really good spectacle. You should all like go outside and watch, but like hold one of those CDs to your eyes or something.
Oh no, Rob, that's not the important thing about that scene as he's driving back in the car alone. The important thing that you know is that he also gets annoyed by other drivers. That's how he's relatable to you, the divorced person watching this.
Yeah,
is true. They also set up the fact that he's divorced really early on, whereas like he's meant to be like going home early because he can, but he's hesitating about it. He's putting it off, and he has to kind of be badgered into going home and clocking off early by his subordinate, which is a sure sign of a man who's got troubles at home. It's like they do everything they can to make this guy like the year divorced dad who's trying to put it back together.
Yeah. And you know that guy's a subordinate to him because he calls him boss at the end of every sentence and sometimes in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, for like a blue-collar construction man, hard hat officer, boss man, Gerard. But sometimes my notes, because it auto-corrects to Gerard, so sometimes we're going to call him Gerard, just FYI.
No, please continue with Gerard.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so Gerard lives most American in the most American shitty house in the shitty suburbs.
The good thing about calling him Gerard is that the race war part is implied.
Anyway,
so
to the Grover house.
In the fucking Grover house. Which is just such an ugly piece of shit. And it's like, spoiler alert, but the comets are going to start hitting the Earth. And it's like, you see in American suburbs with like the ugliest fucking oversized shit houses you've ever seen in your life. You're like, yeah, fuck it. Like, come now, Comet. Bring us salvation.
Yeah, once again, Jeremy Corbyn was right.
They do this whole so I'm going to get this out of the way now. So they do this whole thing of stressing that it's a comet, and that's why they missed it until the very last minute. Because I honestly think they wrote this as an asteroid film, and then someone said, but we track all the asteroids, so there'd have been lots of warning. And they said, what don't we track? Well, we don't track comets. Okay. And we just change it to comet and put in a line.
They do. They love to track comets. The whole thing about them is that they're eminently trackable.
Obviously, this is a thing, like, they did it as, like, it's a rogue interstellar comet.
I think the more likely explanation is that nobody involved in the making of this film knew the first fucking thing about space.
I think they just got as far as big space rock.
The writers had a real axe to grind with NASA, and they were just like, someone at NASA fucked them off, and they were just like, how can we make NASA look like the biggest bunch of twats imaginable?
This is a 2-hour long
What if a planet was
going
to collide with us and NASA didn't see it coming and then got the landing spot wrong and like all this other shit? You know what I mean?
and also don't know what a fucking comet is when parts of it start catching fire? Question mark.
Yes.
What's
See,
going
that's
on
where
with
I was
that?
going with this. I think they wrote it as an asteroid film and then they just changed it to a comet at the last second and didn't bother to think through any of the rest of it. Because
they didn't.
No, the first draft was called "Fuck You, Werner von Braun."
To be fair,
Which,
that was a movie.
would be a good film. Yeah.
Could have got well along with that.
But there's already a song about that.
There's a TV show as well, and we love it.
Anyway,
Watch for All Mankind is good.
we go to the Grover House.
Just quickly.
Oh, sorry.
I went above and beyond for this one. I actually went and
You made us watch it, you
the
fucking prick.
That's not going above and beyond. It's my job to subject you to fucking miseries beyond human comprehension. No, what I did was I went away and watched the press pack, like, interview reel
Oh,
from
Jesus
the director.
Christ, you sicko.
Yeah. But part of that was them saying that they very specifically, like, did research on comets, etc.
What, so that they could include none of that information?
Yeah.
Was he wearing a shirt with like NASA, North American Shite Agency on it or something like that?
No, Jamie. It's North America, Space America.
Maybe he's just been paid by Elon Musk to do NASA down. Like, I think that might be the most likely answer out of all of this. Anyway,
no, because that film was
This is
Moonfall.
agitprop against from Elon Musk.
No, that was Moonfall.
That was Moonfall.
Anyway, so we enter the most American Grover house, and of course we see Monica Bellucci, and she's on the treadmill, and it's just like, why are you on the fucking treadmill? It annoys me so much. It's like, you live in this gigantic fucking suburb where there's like 3 cars, and I grant you, they're all the size of aircraft carriers, but like, why can Americans never go outside for a run? They're just like, I'm here on my treadmill. It's just like,
because of the fentanyl.
It's a crucial construction component in sidewalks.
Depending on where you live, this is actually a thing in America. It's like they just don't fucking do like pedestrian infrastructure very well.
Yeah, I know.
It's still
but
not
like
really much of
there's
an
like a
excuse.
small shot of like the big
just
fuck off suburb. There's grass everywhere. You can literally go outside
Do
and touch
laps of
grass.
the garden and then fraudulently build a spa.
Yeah, okay, suppose. I honestly think it was just an excuse to have him come across her sweaty on a treadmill for all of the divorced dads in the audience.
Yeah, no, it was actually because she paid for a subscription for that treadmill and she's going to get the most out of it she can.
They lost the rights to the Pendleton.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the conversation between them.
It's Chekhov's treadmill because she has to run later on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We have the most like awkward, stilted ass conversation you've ever seen, and it at least implies that he's either divorced or they're separated, or things are definitely not well in the Jerry Racewell household.
Are they ever?
No.
No.
Yeah, he went on holiday and brought back a bunch of really weird chocolate that she just really didn't like.
And then there's another convenient bit of foreshadowing. We see their American movie child, whose name I also can't remember and don't care about. And the child is doing child drawings.
The child whose direction was be as faint as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, anyway, so like my point is not that I hate all children in movies, because like sometimes they're relatively fine, but like more the point is
Big Anakin Skywalker fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of sand, David. The point is that like this is American Movie Child, and American Movie Child just like exists to sort of sit around helplessly and adorably, and then occasionally cry when things go wrong, and then don't have any fucking personality. And that's this child. So this child is doing a mild spot of foreshadowing by also drawing like pictures of Big Comet, in case you the audience were a bit confused as to where the fucking movie is going.
I'm the guy in the orders going, I thought this film was about Greenland.
Yeah, we get like one of those trite scenes where Jerry Racewar is a good dad. You know, he picks the kid up, twirls him around, throws him on the bed. You know, cracks him about the head a little bit. All that jazz.
He also asks him if he's liking the drafting table he got him, which is like, yeah, I'm training up my son to be in my image. It's like, it's really unsubtle. It's great. I love it.
This movie would have been way better if he'd played Ben Garrison, and that's just like he's just drawing hulking Trumps everywhere on that little kid drawing table.
Trump personally smashing the asteroid to pieces, causing it to descend on the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a little cartoon donkey cowers in the corner.
Yeah. I was going to say the Comet has liberals written on the side or something like that. Anyway, so it turns out that American Movie Child has a sad thing.
Yeah, sorry, little Timmy, the reason you've got type 1 diabetes is because your dad's a shithead.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, in case you were like confused about the point of the movie, we then cut to a brief news scene where the newscaster is once again talking about that there's a big comet coming, but don't worry about the big comet. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, that scene really annoyed me because it robbed us of what it would have been like to see Gerard Butler explain maths to a child.
No, David. Math.
Yeah.
Of course, math. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
also,
unlike Gerard Butler, I can't do that.
Yeah. And then it turns out that like Jerry Racewar is not actually like a proper blue collar man. He's actually like an architect or like a building engineer or something.
Structural engineer.
Okay, well, you know that's not a real job, and you know that's there's your problem, me. Anyway, so I mean, it turns out
are all engineers not kind of structural?
Software engineers aren't, but that's because they're not real engineers.
Well, I said all engineers. I wasn't counting like fucking like fake ones. Do you know what I mean?
But he does drive, of course, a giant Ford 150 because this is still divorced dad porn, and all divorced dads need a Ford 150 to, you know, get 1 6-pack of American shitehouse beer to drink on their own while crying because their wife left them. Yeah, we see another outdoor shot of the house. The house is still ugly as all sin. And then, of course, like I said, this is a movie about telling and not showing. We get more like news reports and people talking about the comet instead of showing us the cool comet. And then, of course, they have the most American divorced dad thing ever, which is a backyard cookout where hideous Americans turn up wearing hideous white shirts.
This film would have been like way funnier if instead of having people talking about the comet, they just occasionally cut to the comet. Like, you know what I mean? like you're playing the fucking final boss of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, so because then I'd have someone to root for, basically.
They should have played it like Zelda, and just occasionally it would tell you the remaining time of the film.
Yeah.
Well, they do reveal at in the last act that the main chunk of the comet, asteroid, whatever the fuck it is, as the good guy. So as it wipes out Europe and potentially, unfortunately, Northern Africa, but Europe has it coming. Let's be honest.
Not Helsinki for some fucking reason. But
turns out we'll upside down.
So yeah, Jerry has to go out for more, appalling American food. So he goes to the appalling American supermarket, and then he looks up at the sky and he sees all the U.S. military planes, and they're all flying south for winter. That's just part of their natural migration pattern.
I'm pretty sure they fly east in their natural migration pattern.
Anyway, so they're all flying south for winter, and then he all of a sudden sees like big American Humvee, ugly ass American Humvees, army Humvees everywhere on the road, also driving to place and thing. Anyway, he returns to the ugly barbecue with the ugly.
Just while he's in the shop, I just want to point out that he correctly identifies juice. That's all.
He gets a phone call telling him that he's won a tour of the chocolate factory, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, we all love to receive a phone call that just reads United States Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah. That's a number I have memorized in my phone too.
Yeah, but I mean, you would hang up, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, this is the start of the category confusion of the movie, because like we've been shown a vague threat and now he's being rung by the military, and it is at this point that you are comfortably informed that Jerry Racewell and Monica Bellucci and American Movie Child are being raptured, and the others.
But only he knows this because it cuts back to the house, and she doesn't hear it. His wife doesn't hear it because women be hair drying.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Also, they get a great scene because, like, he gets like a call in the middle of all like the what I assume would otherwise turn into a key party neighborhood cookout, and like, he gets like this call saying, "Hello, is this Jerry Racewell? You may only bring Monica Bellucci and American Movie Child with you. No one else." And, he just sort of takes that call quite subtly, and then it turns up in massive letters on, like, the teletext service on the television.
Yeah, so this is the point at which he has, like, a psychotic episode and starts seeing his own name on the TV.
Yeah. The entire film actually takes place inside the lawyer's office as the divorce papers are being signed. You just can't see any of it, because neither can he.
Like that bit, like that episode of Always Sunny where they're trying to argue their defence and they're just describing what happened that day.
Anyway, they're still having the awful key party at the house. They're like the three of them know they're being raptured, and then like the neighbor's wife just like starts looking at him like really foul, like a proper evangelical would upon hearing that they are not being raptured. It's really funny. Yeah. Because I sort of started imagining that like the first happenstance would be like the neighbors like trying to kill them for their delicious brains, and also like their coast to the rapture spaceship. Because like the plot at this point is that Jerry, with family in tow, now has to get to an Air Force base to get processed to go into a big plane in the sky to be raptured, and we don't know why that is yet. Because obviously,
we do know why. We do know why. And that's because the good guy of the film did one of the most good guy things you can do and wiped out Florida.
Yeah.
Florida, Tampa specifically, which is hell yeah. Yeah, good guy meteor.
Get rid of that shit.
I mean, I think even before it wiped out like fucking Tampa, I think most of us could guess like what the point of the film was going to be the comet that everyone was fucking talking about. It would be absolutely sick as fuck though if they had all this build up about the comet and then it was actually Triffids.
More films should do the surprise Triffid gambit.
Yeah.
Like the only one I can think of that got close to that was 10 Cloverfield Lane, and that was a very good film. So yeah.
What about The Happening?
Oh, that is kind of Triffid adjacent, I suppose.
It's fucking hilarious, is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get like an hour to pack their shit. It doesn't really matter, except for they get the bag of plot stuff. Because American Movie Child has diabetes and needs insulin, so he gets like there's a very big, recognizable blue bag full of drugs that's going to be important later on. That's why it's in shot several times in a row. It is that, of course,
you've missed the key detail of like they're watching TV and they're like, oh yeah, we're expecting it to splash down in the ocean, and they're all watching him, and it hits Tampa, Florida, and Jerry goes outside to have a look around, which is the most daft thing ever, and gets hit by the shockwave all the way from Florida, and does his first ever. Jerry falls over in a dramatic fashion in this film. And like they should have like a running counter of a number of times that Jerry throws himself around as though he's being like knocked down by Comet, because it's fucking hilarious. It's so good. The guy, like there's some actors can take a fall, and there's some actors can simulate getting, taking a hit. Jerry can't do either.
Some actors who get escorted off the Star Trek The Next Generation set.
Yes, it's very much that kind of performance. It's so good.
Anyway, survival dad, shockingly for a survival dad, they have two cars. They have like, the man's mighty Ford What F50, which they don't take. They take like the little shitty box ass like shopping cart, I guess.
Is it Toyota, isn't it, they take?
It's just a fucking, it's just a minivan. It's an like, American family minivan.
Yeah. So, like, you know, but that I think that's emotionally, because at the end of the movie, he does get a Ford F-150, and I think, like, you only deserve to get one after, like, you've repaired your marriage or something. Yeah, and then, anyway, they drive to the airport. Surprise, surprise, the highways are clogged with Americans, because the highways are always clogged with Americans. You know, Comet or no Comet. And then they get stuck in a big queue, and then Big Jerry Raceward does what every dad always wants to do in a big traffic jam, which is just go, good, this isn't working, and then, like, reverse into the emergency shoulder and just, like, reverse the fuck out while just, like, driving at full tilt, you know, because he's cool. He can do that, you know.
So, you missed the scene, right? But it's funny that you missed this one specifically. It's the one where they leave. So when they leave the house and, like, the neighbours...
Oh, yeah, the neighbours trying to throw children at them.
Yeah. One of the neighbours comes up and is like, stands in front of the car, effective, demands, please take my child, to which, obviously, his son and his wife are like, oh, no, we probably should. But he has to be the voice of reason and says no. But then at one point, like, after maybe 30 seconds of that begging with her in front of the car, she moves to the side of the car to continue it, and then we wait another 30 seconds for them to just drive off. Like, it's obviously done for, here is some dramatic tension, but all dramatic tension has been deflated from, I get out the way of the large vehicle.
It's done purely so he can do that. Look, we've got children at home, you know, in response to the request, right?
Like, it's just so fucking annoying. Like, this film, it repeatedly does this, where it will generate tension, or at least attempt to, in a way that is like, you need to shift how you're looking at it just very slightly, and all of it falls apart. It's really badly done.
Anyway, you know, he does some cool reverse driving, and then he does the other yada thing, which is, of course, say, oh, I know a better alternative route that will just get us there in one straight go, and, you know, not land you in front of, like, a closed bridge or a big pond or, you know, some other fucking massive traffic jam. No, they just get to the airport on time, where they are going to, like I said, where they're going to get raptured. But there's a big...
that scene... That is like a load-bearing scene, though, for the divorced dad demographic, because every single divorced dad will go, oh, well, I could fucking turn the car around and drive the wrong way down the road, and I could navigate. I'm good at navigation. That's my skill. I'm just like him. I could do that in that situation. And it like establishes rapport. Like, that one scene, knowing who their target demo is, I'm like, okay, I understand why that's in there. It's just everything else is fucking extraneous. So, sure, all right.
So anyway, so they get to the gate of the airport, and surprise, surprise, you know, more people have turned up than, you know, are going to get the Rapture QR code tattooed on them. So, and it is at this point, roughly speaking, that it turns into a zombie movie, because, like, everybody else who's just, like, screaming outside there is not really a person, and later on, you know, we'll demonstrate how much of not of a person they are.
You skipped a bit with Chekhov's insert.
Oh, yeah. Like, the kid is cold, or I don't know. American movie child has some issue, pulls his blanket out of his bag, the insulin, which is also in the same bag and not, you know, with the parents who are responsible. It falls out the side of the car, and then things happen. Whatever. Not to be fair that any of this scene truly matters, because Jerry, with family in tow, gets through the queue. You know, gets his wristband, because it's. The American military, basically, it's like EasyJet. They give them, like, priority boarding on the QR code. It's really, you know, the American military throughout this is very, like, customer oriented. There's a lot of, like, complaining to the manager, but in this case, the manager is, like, wearing army fatigues. It's a very strange movie.
Speedy boarding for structural engineers.
Yeah, exactly. But it is at that point that, you know, sad trombone, it turns out that the Department of Homeland Security has made a small mistake, and that is American movie child can't be raptured because he has diabetes. So, you know, fuck you, American movie child.
Yeah. The US government would like to take this opportunity to do just some mild eugenics.
To be frank, this is, you know, maybe the only accurate representation of America in this movie.
No, that's not true. The US military are also very sad about the jobs they have to do.
Oh, that's true.
Also, when they're right, they come in with like 3 bags. They're told pack all the bags into one bag. You only 1 bag per family, which is like, okay. That's an odd rule. And then that's when they find out they don't have the insulin, etc. But as part of that like montage of people moving about with their luggage, etc., we are also very pointedly shown a drug sniffing dog.
Yes, I have this as well. Yes.
It is the end of the world, but it is not the end of the war on drugs. That may never end.
Fantastic. I know.
I think. I actually think, right, I hate to be this person, but I think it's a bomb sniffing dog, which also makes zero sense. But sure, why not? Like,
the war on terror is the war on drugs, and the war on drugs is the war on terror. So I don't think it's the same thing.
As we later see, even at the end of the world, the global bureaucracy endures.
Yeah.
Oh no, but the reason for that is because that was the American government giving out free healthcare in that instance, and that had to be logged so that the family could be billed later in the event of their survival.
Yeah. Anyway, so I can't remember what happens, but one of the soldiers spots that like he's got this like big insulin pump built into the side of his chest or something.
No, he doesn't even spot it. The mother just says he's got insulin. Oh, my man's just gone back to go pick up our insulin from the car. Insulin, did you say? And they pull him out of line as a consequence of that, whilst Jerry's away getting the insulin.
Yeah.
What's great, by the way, sorry, they fucking scan them all with like those wands, metal detecting wands that don't somehow start beeping when it goes over his insulin pump. It's like that if you're doing that film, that's the moment they discover that he's got an insulin pump. That's how you do it, rather than having like an extra minute of.
So the whole thing about how he gets caught and the insulin pump, etc. He doesn't get picked up when the metal detector thing doesn't fucking go off or whatever, because that would be dumb. Because if he get caught there and then, it would be the US military's a terrible thing. What has to happen here is that it has to be this like, oh, that's so sad. If only she hadn't said anything, we could have just got away with it type deal. It's just fucking weird.
Also,
like,
they need if they got detected when they went through the fucking metal detector thing, then you wouldn't have like fucking the separation of the family, which is so crucial to the fucking ongoing plot. Because like Jerry's got to go back to the fucking entrance with, I've got my wristband on, can I just snip out? I left my tabs in the car, you know what I mean? Like he's at a fucking club night or something.
Well, Jamie, you don't want to pay the $5 to get back in, do you?
Nah. Just get him to put a little fucking stamp on the back of his hand.
Yeah. Anyway, so like Jerry's back outside getting the big plot bag of insulin. And meanwhile, like Monica Bellucci is like screaming at customer service because she's like, I have a child with me. Why can't I bring my child on the plane? And it's like basically the woman is like the weary air stewardess. She's like, Madam, there are rules here.
Is it too late to re-diagnose this kid with Chekhov's type 3 diabetes?
Type 2 Chekhov, I think. Yeah, anyway, so she's screaming, saying, why can my child, I have a perfectly fine child, thank you very much. And then, the very humanized, it's a black woman as well, says, I had to leave all my family behind and I'm not going on the plane, so, why are you screaming at me for? I'm just, Befehl ist Befehl.
I'm just here to follow orders, and if you don't like that, that's a you problem.
It's so fucking ridiculous too. Like, I don't know, David, but my general impression is if you told the vast majority of rank and file troops, hey, listen, you're not getting on the plane, you're all going to die in the explosion, I think they'd just desert. I don't think they'd fucking stick around like that.
Do you have any idea how quickly that would set off an anti-officer class revolution?
They did say that everyone there was a volunteer. Presumably all the dissenters were shot.
Anyway, so like I kind of lose the point of it, the plot at this point, because like she manages to yell her way that American Movie Child can get on the plane, yes, still, or no, they get rejected, and then Jerry does get on the plane, but he's like, where are my wife and kids? And then he sort of pulls the plug on the plane leaving because he's like,
some other guy on the plane. Some other guy on the plane sees him with Chekhov's insulin bag, and says, "How did you get on with that?" Because like someone in his extended family that he didn't give enough of a fuck about to get off the plane for also couldn't get on for being diabetic.
The most callous man in that entire place, and was just saying something. Yeah, fuck my family, but he had diabetes, so fuck him.
Yeah. So Gerard Butler decides that he's going to get off the plane, which requires them to reopen the big ramp that takes ages to open and close.
Yeah. He yells at customer service as well.
Yeah, and then when that happens and he's getting off, everyone else also has to get off because there's a big breach. And the
zombies
breach in the
perimeter,
wall,
yeah,
and the unwashed masses pour in and manage to blow up a bunch of planes. And honestly, I didn't think that the American public had that in them.
I did want to say though, like this whole airbase scene made me think of a much better piece of media, like the Last of Us TV show, which like the bit with where they're in the car in both this movie and in. I think it's the first episode of The Last of Us. Similar in some ways, but like this movie just doesn't really have anything interesting happening while you're watching all the shit happening in the car.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that because I don't own a PlayStation.
Was that a point of principle for you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like it'd be cheating to like what, you know what I mean? That was a PlayStation exclusive. God made it a PlayStation exclusive, and it's not for me to like, do you know what I mean? Sneak in the fucking side of the theater and watch it on the fucking telly.
Jamie is an honourable console warrior, thank you very much.
He follows the Bushido code of consoles.
Also, my brother in like, while gushing about how it was the best fucking game he's ever played, told me the ending and it sounded shit, so...
Bill.
Anyway, so it is at this point. So we have like a separation of family. Mum and son are together, and Big Jerry Racewall is like 5 minutes behind them. But she just decides to like get the fuck out of there and go to her dad to kill Bill.
Like, right, the worst fucking. Just wait.
Yes,
just wait.
5 minutes. Just give each other 5 minutes.
Oh no, but David, have you seen how pasty and wooden this child is?
Yes, from the very start.
Clearly minutes away from death.
Yeah, and she manages for some reason, even though like one of the sort of minor subplots, one of the minor running subplots of this movie is the phones never work unless they have to. For like plot reasons.
Oh, the phones that only go off when it would advance the plot for them to do so.
Yes. And then I have a note that sort of cuts some scenes in half that I don't really remember why I wrote it, but it says big Scar scream time. Anyway, so because like Monica Bellucci and Movie Kid have to like get out or have to find insulin somewhere because he's like even more wooden and pasty than before.
Oh,
so
right,
she's
aye. So they go and she finds it on the shelf in the middle of the pharmacy.
Oh, it's also, this is where the movie has like a completely blue color gradient. It's not the first color shift, but it's like this is where every turn there's like a blue filter over the whole screen.
It's like, it's nighttime. How do we signal it's nighttime while filming it in daytime? Let's do that classic cinematic trope. Yeah, but badly, so...
so she's there, they find some insulin, whatever. And then, of course, it's because this is also a zombie movie, the pharmacy is attacked by people with guns. And unless I'm much mistaken, all like the extras chosen to like wield guns and be threatening, to me, they all looked African American. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think I am.
You are wrong.
You're wrong.
You are wrong. There were also rednecks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, phew.
Yes.
Together at last.
Both genders of undesirable American. Black people and poor white people. Just fucking. It's a Jerry Racewar film. Why are we sitting here going, look, wow, that seems notable? Like.
Yeah.
This is just par for the course, unfortunately.
Yeah. Fortunately, Monica Bellucci meets like the one noble savage that that there is who
I
says...
literally have Noble Savage in my fucking notes as well. Yeah. The Noble Savage lowers his shotgun. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Also, they shoot someone who's in a wheelchair for, like, no reason whatsoever, just to show that they're, you know...
That's so that you can see Savages, and then you can see Noble in the next little shot. That's what that's for.
All right.
Yeah, poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah.
It's actually because the wheelchair was racist.
Yeah. Then, like, I don't know. So Monica Bellucci escapes with Movie Child, and they meet a couple, Phoebe from Friends, and some guy with a
boy from The Office.
They get a lift from the most suspicious man in, like, the world.
Yeah.
Just fucking that motherfucker goes out the airlock first in every game of Among Us he's ever played.
But yeah, they seem very friendly at first. Again, this is a zombie movie now, so of course the real enemies are the people, are fellow humans. It's not the mindless hordes who shoot you with a wheelchair. That's because they immediately clock that wifey and Movie Child are wearing like the special, the all access pass to the Rapture. So they clock that, and of course that means they can't be trusted now. Because they now lost for Rapture themselves. We cut to Big Jerry Racewell, who is walking past a doom church where everybody's like praying and screaming inside. Almost gets run over, and like you see more chunks of Comet falling on American cities. This is one of the scenes that make me cheer.
You also see like there's a party going on, not at the Doom Church, but on like a rooftop, which he drives past. It's very weird how the camera works on it. And like they're all partying and cheering every time there's an explosion. It's like all the young people are like, cheering on the apocalypse. Yep. And it's all intentionally, it's a young crowd. They've got nothing to do but drink and party as the world ends. It's like, fuck off. Just fuck off.
I mean, again, that's like... it's a scene in Independence Day where they're all partying on the rooftop, but it's done like way shittier. Anyway, so then blah blah. Yeah, so there's the end of the world party. The reason he goes up to the rooftop is so that he can have like a 2-minute plot conversation on the phone, which now works with Monica Bellucci, and she just sort of says, "I'm going to my dad," and he says, "I will find you." And then the signal cuts, so everybody knows where. Well, they're meeting up at Granddad's gingerbread house, basically. Anyway, so they all have to get to Lexington, I think, is the point now. So,
yes.
So he leaves the end of the world party, and then, of course, immediately finds a truck that will both take him and is filled with plot exposition, which is very handy. Because the random truck is going up north to Canada because they've heard a rumor that there are like... that the last living bush pilot is like ferrying people to Greenland, where the American savior base is. And we need to hear that now. So of course, because the movie is called Greenland, so you might have twigged that this is important. And like I said, the truck is full of guys who do exposition, and it turns out that Jerry Racewell got selected not because he's good at killing minorities, but because he's a structural engineer. And then we get to the one bit in the movie.
The minorities thing is just circumstantial.
Yeah, little accident.
Yeah. He's also... Yeah, but this is the point where I get really confused because apparently now Jerry Racewell is Scottish again. And like his accents like bounces all over the shop.
That's just how he talks. How dare you?
Fucking rich coming from Rob as well. Sorry, Rob, carry on.
No, because they were like, why are you being raptured? You're not, a good, honest American. You are a disgusting fraud, and you don't deserve to be saved.
Fair point, quite frankly.
Exactly.
See, to be fair, right? See if that entire exchange had happened in the back of a truck on the M8, they would have been right to say everything they said to him. Where are you from?
Anyway, so then everybody gets mad at each other because they want Jerry's rapture bracelet, and then another guy tries to defend him, and there's like I said, the exposition truck is now
the fucking stuff with the bracelets and how everyone's trying to murder them for the bracelets is so fucking funny because it's like you got rejected, just take the bracelet off. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the fucking army tattooed you to say you were allowed on the plane.
No, the funniest thing is they
or
say
just,
like,
or just tell people, or just say. The plane I was supposed to escape on got blown up, and also they fucking kicked my diabetic Victorian sickly child ass out of the fucking magic airport. So maybe this bracelet won't get you back in. But no one thinks to say that, you know what I mean? Because they're all just too committed to fucking drama, I guess.
Though the only reason that Jerry Racewell says look, the bracelet won't work for you, it says you also need to show photo ID and you won't get through security. It's just
you need to mug me and steal my face like in a Mission Impossible film.
It was that give me your ID as well was demanded by one of the guys wanting to fucking steal it off him, and it's like
just give me that fucking piece of ID that's got your face on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the other vehicle in transport, which contains the wife, the movie child, and the most distrustful man in the entire world, and Phoebe from Friends. And he now, in a shocking twist, reveals his true nature and decides to throw Monica Bellucci out of the car and steal her bracelet, but keeps the child. Because, you can exchange the child for goods and services or something, I guess.
If they're not... because they never had to show any fucking photo ID when they got there, did they? So, presumably it would just be a case of, why not just take the child's fucking thing as well and just pretend to be 7 years old?
Yeah. I mean, anyway, so we cut back to Jerry Racewell, who's now lying in a ditch with all the anti-Scottish racists, and then he ends up brain hammering a guy, which he's a little bit sad about later. But he gets out of there and is just walking along the ditch
because the guy looked like E.T.
Anyway, so at this point, the disposition of our plot devices is as such. The son is with the Raj accountant. The wife is weeping along the highway somewhere, and Jerry Racewell has just been tossed out of the murder truck and is also walking along a ditch after having murdered a guy with a hammer. We then cut to an incredibly pointless scene that sort of made me you added on half an hour for to do this kidnapping subplot, because
I just want to say the fight scene with the hammer and the two guys, at no point are we led to believe that he has ever had any kind of fighting experience. It's just he just fucking brains a guy with a hammer nothing.
Yeah, but
really.
that's divorced da law everywhere. They know that that's the Gerard.
That's just you know what the Scots are like.
No, I think it's divorced dad thing. It's me, I'm just a quiet man.
Anti-English discrimination.
No, it's me, I'm a quiet man. I won't do anybody ever harm. But if they ever came for me, then I know kung fu karate or whatever the fuck. It's that kind of.
This is a joke mainly for David. But do you think he's part of the big man relocation program? Did he get a deal so he could go to a quiet life in the United States and give up the hammer, or?
Give up the hammer.
Anyway, the Raj accountant and Phoebe show up at a different airport with their sort of bodge job bracelet back on, and he keeps running to the front of the queue screaming, "This is my boy, this is my wife, this is my boy, this is my wife." And I was like, "This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is my boy, this is my wife."
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
300 mil insulin, full metal jacket. Anyway, they get to like the front of the queue where like the military customer service agents are like checking everybody in for speedy boarding, and then of course the thing that you might have predicted like hours in advance, the child says, "These are not my parents. They have kidnapped me. I do not like these people."
Damn, their foolproof plan to get into this fucking place has failed because of the one thing they didn't want to happen.
The film immediately turns into a PSA, and he just goes into a straight recital of stranger danger, and that's the film for at least 2 minutes.
Also, he can't act for shit because that fucking crying whine thing he did when he was breaking down and saying they're not my parents was just so fucking, like, honestly, God. Like, if you're going to pick a small child...
the film simply could have avoided having a child actor expected to do these things, but alas.
No, we got to pad out this fucking 2-hour playtime.
Yeah, like at least 20 minutes is wasted on this like child napping storyline, which just goes nowhere. Because like basically,
my notes have nothing in about that entire thing other than carpool karaoke, but with a Q.
Anyway, so like the Reg accountant and Phoebe from Friends like just run off screen, never to be seen again. It's like they shouldn't have been in this movie in the first place. But then it turns out, to my great satisfaction, finally we get to see some FEMA death camps. Here they do exist in this universe.
Finally, some bureaucracy.
They exist to have paperwork filled in and to give out free healthcare.
Yeah, free children and free healthcare. It's a smorgasbord, actually.
You receive the free healthcare, you sign the release, and then they shoot you.
my
some insulin in a blindfold.
Yeah, but my notes say at this point,
syringe like it's a cigarette.
Yeah, my notes say at this point this is the magic FEMA camp with military buses and insulin hoses.
Who is driving the military bus? Who volunteered?
Yeah, this is very crucial. Look, government bad, but also government good is what's going down here.
Also, like, wait, what is it? Is it by this point we've established they've got like 2 days left to live?
Yeah,
people are remarkably chill about this.
Yeah,
to be honest,
that's not true because earlier on we did I think it was right before the motorway. There was shots of people looting shops and Jerry Butler going like, "Oh well, that didn't take long."
Looting has become a favourite pastime in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Just quote a better movie there, folks.
It's so stupid because
don't say that lightly.
One of the things, like, Rob is right when he says that this is kind of like a zombie movie, but it's more of a thread of like there's this great concerted effort to tell the public that everyone's animals and all, the second we take the boot off, you're all going to devolve into like group murder. And I've said this before in this pod, but like all the historical evidence is the opposite. During the great, right after the great earthquake of San Francisco, like, all the public banded together and opened soup kitchens and just did mutual aid and, like, we're getting over it. And this terrified the rich so much they sent in the fucking army to break it all up because they need people to feel they're dependent on the state. And so you've got these fucking films that are all like, oh, everything will break down, it'll immediately turn to animals.
No, James, what happens is everyone wants to become Immortan Joe, and you immediately form a war band. And descend upon the local CVS or whatever.
It's fucking stupid. Like, if it was a real end of the world, all the soldiers would desert and everyone would just fucking go home to their families. And if you didn't have families, then yeah, they'd probably get fucked up on, alcohol, and maybe some people would start fights, but not that fucking many, man.
James, like, sometimes you say things, right, and they're so completely wrong in the presence of someone who would prove them wrong. Because I have a list, and I am not crossing off none of them. No chance.
You know what, David? Fair. I did say some would, though, so...
Yeah, so Monica Bellucci and the child are now reunited, and they are on their way to Granddad's gingerbread house by way of, convenient military bus that just, like, goes to random places. Why? Do not be asking such silly questions. And then we get to the next section of the movie, and the way that you know that is the next section of the movie is that we now get a yellow color filter over everything, and it looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
It looks like they've just bathed the film in urine. I got a little.
They did.
No, that was a script, David.
This is the recurring trope thing in Jerry Butler films, where you go to see the older man, and he's got his shit together. Why don't you?
Yeah.
If you just listen to your elders.
My favorite thing though is like because he's still like, I thought he was at Granddad's gingerbread house, but he wasn't. He's like in some random stranger's car to like turn on the telly, which still works, and it says that the Comet, which is practically called Clark, is now a planet killer, and we know that the end is nigh, basically. He has some like quite literally 3 seconds worth of PTSD trying to wash the blood off the guy he hammered to death, and then steals a car with a truly great note left on the door or the fridge or something saying, "My name is John Gravity. I took your car. If I survive, I promise to bring it back."
The film does it does that little like fun world building thing that all good disaster films do. It does it sometimes, where it'll occasionally tell you like somewhere else has now exploded, and you get to think, is that a good place to explode or not? And I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in Colombia that they mentioned, so I'm like, nah.
Bogota.
Yeah. Which isn't great. Like,
no,
tell me
nice.
London's gone.
Tell me, London has fallen.
Yeah. Every opportunity to drop that, but you just fucking don't, you cowards.
Anyway, we everybody finally reassembles at Grandad's house, and it turns out that Grandad is Kill Bill, which is good for him. In his old age, before he's killed by the bride, he hangs out and is like drinking and playing poker with his buddies, and just like, I don't know, like waiting for the end,
hanging out with a horse.
Honestly, that's like not the worst way to go either. Like, if you had to choose, like, okay, your family...
Probably not as exciting in the moment as the way the actual guy from Kill Bill went.
Anyway, Jerry Racewell gets there first, and then has like a brilliant line where obviously Kill Bill is angry with him that like he's not with that Jerry's not with his daughter, but then Jerry first says like, "Have you tried the phone?" And it's like, I'm sure he didn't. It's just so, it's like, no, nobody thought to use the phone. Which of course doesn't work. And then Jerry Racewell gets really angry and says, "You would think technology would work in emergencies." And it's like,
that was the best line of the film. That was good. I stood up and I clapped when I heard that one.
Of course. Then everybody gets back together. This again, the phone works for 5 minutes for plot reasons, because the wife says, "Oh, look, you have to come pick me up from the church around the corner, because I'm an American. I can't walk 3 minutes because you have to go pick me up by fucking car." And then it turns out that like the Greenland humanity vaults are like real. And they have the technology and I guess infinity water and like poo recycling services, etc. So now because Jerry had like plot exposition in the murder truck, they now the end game is now in motion. They all have to get they have to get across the border into Canada to get on like the tiny bush plane to get to Greenland in. What is it, 24, 48 hours? Something along those lines?
It's like, it's
way
less
less.
than that.
It's like 6
16.
or 8, something like that. Oh, 16, okay.
Yeah. So everybody like packs up. Kill Bill and Jerry Race will have a heart-to-heart, because he says, I cheated on Monica Bellucci.
In a workshop. They have it in a workshop. They always have to have it in a workshop. That's where you have the heart-to-heart with the older guy, because it's where men talk and do man things and figure out things in a manly way. God, I fucking hate these films.
Like, Kill Bill is in there, like, polishing his sniper rifle, and, like, when he's telling off Jerry Racewell, you can just see over his shoulder, like a framed thing with, like, his Vietnam medals in it. So it's like Kill Bill was obviously, like, a hard man.
They also stress the point repeatedly that Kill Bill's like wife, you know, before she passed, she spent all her time in the workshop and all the rest of it. Like, you know, she was a real practical woman, unlike my useless daughter being the subtext. It's like, they really have to do everything they can to basically go, get your shit together and look after my feckless daughter who has just, like, fucked everything up by, like, choosing to split with you. That's like, it's the divorced energy. It's like the wife's to blame. And they even, like, thread that through when they're doing the reconciliation later. It's so disgusting. It's so bad. If you just stuck with your man, none of this would have happened, kind of shit.
I just also like to point out that Kill Bill decides he's going to stay behind, and the reason that he does this, the justification for this is that he has a horse to look after. That horse would have died at the whisper of the first impact because it would have thought it heard something. All the horses are dead. There are no surviving horses at this point. Poor Freckles thought of astronomical phenomenon and died.
Yeah.
It's also because like that's where his wife died, and he wants to be nearby in case that's how ghosts work. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't want to be like fucking stranded in the afterlife in Greenland and have to float all the way back.
Yeah. Maybe he'll finally get the cosmic excuse he's been needing to fuck the horse.
And then, of course, now because Jerry Racewar is like reunited with his wife and promises to be a better man, and because he now has a gun, and that means he's upgraded to real man status. So he gets another Ford F-150, but this time a double-axled one. That's even bigger than his previous one. Mm-hmm. Like it
is genuinely staggering whenever you see these fucking cars. Like even in like a movie, it is a fucking tank.
The first time I was in America and we drove on the interstate, like, you know, my partner has this really small Japanese hatchback, like a normal person, and it's, like, fucking terrifying. I thought the trucks would be scary, but they're nothing compared to the literal armoured personnel carriers that are basically hurtling around, and none of the fuckers can drive or signal to save themselves either. It's terrifying.
Because they don't have to, like, they all drive Cybertrucks.
Yeah, it does. It is kind of interesting though. They literally have the passing of a torch, except the torch is a gun, and that immediately allows him to upgrade his manhood to get like a bigger car. It's like, okay, sure, subtle.
Yeah, take my truck. It's got a full tank of gas. It goes a whopping 50 miles before you need to fill it up.
Yeah. There's no way that piece of shit gets like all the way up to northern Canada without needing like 7 refills. But I assume, you know, that the military petrol stations are also still open because they have to refuel all the complimentary buses.
All of the ESO workers are like, oh yeah, do you know what? I just love my job that much. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you in the face of death.
Yeah,
because
then we get
I'm a retail worker, the noble retail worker of America.
We're back on the road. Jerry Racewar and his wife are like being nice together again, and then Movie Child has some like appalling dross about like how it's unfair that your life only flashes before your eyes before you die, and it's like you should be having that all the time to remember about like how happy you were. I'm like, my guy, I don't need my life flashing before my eyes all the time. Like I'm driving a car. If that happens, I'm just gonna crash into shit.
I'll have you know I've got anxiety and it's not any good. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
That was some powerful Disney dialogue written by someone who's never even watched Disney.
Yeah,
it's very so. They're trying to do setup. They're trying to do like, oh, we've got this great textual metaphor where at the end of the film we'll do a flashback, but we'll Chekhov's gun the flashback because that's the thing you have to do. It's so bad. It's like this feels like it's written by a guy who's like read the book that says read the Godfather script and is like, yes, I understand film now. I understand cinema. I can write and write well, and it's going to be a banger. And it's. God, it's like he's a guy who's read Show Don't Tell, and it's like, okay, that means I need to laboriously show every little fucking thing that happens, and that's why we get a 2-hour running time. It's awful. It's god-awful.
We need to have a scene in the car where we detail how a storytelling device works, so that when we use the storytelling device, the audience knows it's a storytelling device, and not to take it too literally.
I honestly think that if you made Nico watch this film, he'd fucking burst into flames.
Well, maybe he would mercifully be taken out by a burning piece of Comet.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point we get into another traffic jam, because that's what needs to happen, because now we're getting a barrage by space artillery. Anyway, Big Jerry
I'll
race
just point
war
out that no one has said anything. We're all like, oh, well, those bits of Comet shouldn't be on fire. No one knows what state the moon's in at the moment. Maybe it's all moon stuff. Maybe they're experiencing moon terror.
Maybe the moon is on manoeuvres.
I genuinely think Moonfall is a better film than this. Like, there's more entertainment value.
Yeah, you have the moon to root for.
It's openly stupid, though. Also, yes.
Anyway, so like they are, they're in another traffic jam. The space artillery starts raining down, and because like in the previous like shitty like suburb family car, Jerry Racewalk could only like drive backwards on the road. Now because he's got like the big man metal penis, now he can drive off the road, so he's like twice as cool. Also, that's because like small trees protect you from like falling space debris, which is good to know. Yeah, then he saves somebody in a burning car. His hands get burned. It's all very boring.
His child laughs at him.
Yeah.
His child laughing at the bad CGI effects burning him, frankly. But anyway.
Yeah, that car window looked like someone had like it somehow managed to install like their kitchen hob in it.
We filmed this entire scene in Oblivion.
Well, you know what it's like though when you get in the car with your mates in the summer and they go, Jesus, it's like an oven in here.
Anyway, they hide out under like an abutment or like a bridge or something until the space artillery is gone, which also apparently cleared the road, which is really weird. But then we get the blessed news that, like we said, the planet killer is going to land somewhere in the Mediterranean or in Western Europe. And we're told this by Vladimir Lenin of NASA.
It was going to take out most of Europe and North Africa.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you couldn't have just put it on
praise be
Britain.
upon him. Hail the meteor. Thank you, Jeremy Corbyn, for making this a reality.
The pigeon is finally avenged.
But yeah, once again, Jamie, to further your theory that this is a movie that hates NASA, like the chairman of NASA who's doing this announcement has like a weird Russian accent. He's like Vladimir Nabokov or something, and it's just like, why is there a Russian in charge? Anyway, an indeterminate
it's Werner
number
von Braun, that's why. They've brought him back for one last job.
Anyway, they make it to like the bush pilot haven just in the nick of time.
No! Before that, there's one last ominous sign of collapsed society in an ended world. It's an unmanned border crossing.
Oh no! Truly, the world's gone mad.
Of all the things that you could show Americans to make them go, "Oh wow, this is bad," it's an unmanned border crossing.
Specifically, it's the border with Canada.
Border crossing into Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the border crossings are unmanned anyway because there's a Democrat in the White House. That's how that works. How else are Hamas going to get in?
Do you know? I've just had the thought. Do you think during this apocalypse scenario, all the guards guarding the kids in cages decided to volunteer to stay at their duty as well? Like,
oh, absolutely, yeah. There's no one, behind only the noble petrol station worker of America is the noble ice
bus
worker
driver
of America.
Yeah. Anyway, where the fuck are we now? We like they get to like the
Canada.
If we're in Canada, they get to like the small airstrip beneath the pines, and there's like a Mexican.
Oh my god! I've just realised, David, I now understand why that scene with the car and with them standing in front of the car happened earlier in the film. Like, it's set up. Like, she stands in front of the car, says, "Take my child," and she gets out of the way, and when she gets out of the way, they drive away. Well, that's about to pay off, lads, because Jerry learned from that. Go ahead, Rob.
They do like they do Mexican standoff. Like, the pilot says, "Look, this plane's already packed out. We can't carry any more weight." And then Jerry says, "Like, look, I'm really not as fat as I look. You can take me, my wife, and my child." It's
Oh yeah, they slip a weight joke in there, which is like, yeah, cool. All right, this is just normal fare in a movie. That's all right.
Yeah, he parks his car in front of a plane and says, "I'm not
No,
moving
but it's
the
not
car."
about what he learned, because when he did it, it didn't fucking work. That's not the point of it. The point of it is it's some commentary on actually humanity is good, even if it's not our main character, the self-insert for you, the viewer.
Anyway, so the pilot is like the big muscle guy that you've seen in 100 other movies, whose name I can't remember, but like he's always like big, slightly dumb, grumpy muscle man.
I'm pretty sure his name's something highly American, like Colt or something.
Quality.
But yeah, he's in like Fight Club, Three Kings, that Netflix David Fincher thing about the murderers.
Cold butt slam.
Yeah. So called school shooting.
Yeah, Big McLarge, huge.
Called school shooting agrees to like take them up on the plane. Plane takes off for Greenland. They make it barely in time, and then and then the color gradient stops. So like we see true nature again. So clearly we are in paradise because not everything is fucking yellow anymore. And then they do the the valley run from Top Gun Maverick. Like they I don't know, the end. They always get hit like by the shockwave of some impact of some bit of comet.
That's something else I haven't seen because I don't own a PlayStation.
You should see that though. That's pretty good. That movie owns pretty good. Yeah, so they do the valley run, and then maybe I was just the one who found this funny. They do like an emergency crash landing, and then they thunk to the halt in like the side of a glacier, which is just like, glaciers don't just like stop in the middle of a field with like a 90-degree angle. It's just really funny. It's incredibly cartoonish. They stop, like they get crack into the Acme Glacier. Also, this at this point that I was highly confused as to whether or not does the kid not like need any insulin any longer, because like
he's fully turned into Pinocchio at this point.
Yeah, they injected him with something at the FEMA camp.
No, at the FEMA camp where they gave him the vaccines. They did, like the person did literally say, we've given you insulin and glucose tablets. Like, so that's we're just ticking this off so you don't have to think about it for the rest of the film. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's covered.
The cat's out the bag, and what they've decided is at the FEMA camp, they're actually going to give them the cure for diabetes, which they've been holding back for years.
like we're getting to the end of the film now, and so the kid wasn't allowed to come because he's got, like, a long-term condition. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now at this point of the film, doesn't come up again. It's just fine. It's not a problem.
No. Oh yeah, they'll let anyone in. Like,
yeah. Well, they've got space.
They shout from the doors.
They've got loads of fucking space left after like fucking Jerry blew up all those planes that were supposed to carry people.
Yeah, so like the good news is if you can figure out this also applies for you at home. If you can figure out a way to get past the security barriers, you can just go on any plane you like in the airport. That's how that works. That's also how you.
I mean, it's technically
not
true.
Advice. Yeah. Not advice.
So
being in trouble's a fake idea. Did you know? Right, this is something I learned. This is something I learned yesterday. But if you walk out of Tesco with one of those like self checkout, like the little handgun thing when you do the scan and shop, you can just walk right out with those, and the alarm doesn't go off.
Show down at the Jamie Corral, but yeah, like you're just drawing Tesco guns all weekend on each other.
Yeah, you got to like sellotape barcodes from all the food on yourself so you can
going around with the barcode scanning laser, just blinding NFT owners.
I don't think there's any need for that anymore, Jamie.
Yeah. Anyway, so the plane crash gets spotted by the military. A truck shows up. They're just like, oh, we don't need to see ID anymore. You all can just come into like the big bunker. And then, of course, they make it with literally minutes to spare as the big blast doors close behind them. We see some rather delightful bunk beds, and then it's basically they all go into the brace position. Big Jerry Racewell says, "I love you" to Monica Bellucci, and then we get the payoff for that shit scene that American Movie Child set up earlier in the car.
Oh no, it's worse than that. They flag it up again. The little kid they're getting ready to embrace. The kid's like, "Why isn't my life flashing before my eyes?" And it's like,
you're 7 years old, you haven't had one yet, shut the fuck up.
It's also, he's explicitly 10 is the sad thing, which is important. They crowbar that in several times so you'll get what the flashback is at the end. Yeah. It's like they don't trust their audience to understand that, we spent time setting up your life flashing before your eyes, we're about to do that, now we must remind you about it's like fucking essay format. Let me tell you what I'm going to do.
I thought the kid was meant to be 5 or something.
No, the kid's 7.
No, he's 10.
I thought he was 7.
I thought he was 10.
They literally say 7. The woman pleads with the guy in the shop when he decides to let them live that her kid's only 7 years old. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. Regardless,
but
anyway, it's
seven's
the
new
flashback.
10 in sickly Victorian years, though.
Anyway, life flashes before everybody's eyes. It takes forever. I skip through this scene because it's just
it's 3-year-old birthday for the young boy, and Granddad's there, and everyone's happy.
Yeah,
and it's like what the film's trying to do is it's trying to psychologically say, look, they're going back, they're family again, they've turned back time. All it took was it was the end of the world for them to get back together. And honestly, right, the rest of the film could have done with tremendous tightening up and a whole bunch of regressive shit being cut.
I mean, I think
the film.
I think, realistically, the end of the world, a lot of people are just going to settle.
Yeah, probably. I think the film would have been better if they just all fucking died in the bunker, frankly.
Yeah, they should have done a Rogue One, but just actually fully just ended the film with the last main character death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just have them there. And, we're family again.
These life flashes are bullshit anyway, because I thought they belonged to the child, and there's no Roblox in there. There's no first time someone sneaks you a titty magazine. There's no first time you beat someone to death on the playground. First time you survived a school shooting. None of that standard American fare.
As a Cold War era bunker, there could well be titty mags in there. So not all traditions will die.
But anyway, so the Earth explodes, and then we get a bunch of fucking radio transmissions from around the world.
Oh no! First we get a couple of blown up cities with incredibly well known landmarks. So the first is of course the Sydney Opera House, because everybody knows the Sydney Opera House. That's now rubble basically, except the skeleton of the actual thing, because otherwise you know where it was. Then I think it's Mexico City with the cathedral. Then of course it's Paris with the Eiffel Tower, which is blown sideways.
To be fair,
that looked kind of best, yeah.
The fucking thing that gets me right is Sydney Opera House, the shell of that somewhat surviving because it's concrete is okay, that possibly, right? But when you get to the fucking Eiffel Tower, that thing's gone. If there's a shockwave big enough to obliterate the entire fucking city like that, the Eiffel Tower is strewn in 1,000 pieces. It's just not designed to do that.
They actively state that it is a 9-mile wide fragment, larger than the one that killed the dinosaurs. There is no fucking bit of soil left that resembles Paris.
Yeah.
All of that's gone. And good riddance, but all of it's gone.
Finally, we can do some redevelopment into not a completely insane subway and road system.
Where are people going to have car chases now?
The cliff faces of fucking Amsterdam. I don't know.
they also said, the president said during a wind-up to this as they're doing the radio address, that the atmosphere is going to be heated to 700 degrees. I'm assuming Fahrenheit. That's 371 Celsius. Nothing is surviving on the surface of the Earth if that happens. Nothing. In fact, frankly, at that temperature, the bunker's probably fucked too. I don't care how far down you dug it, it's just not going to be... you will cook at that temperature. If the entire...
not on that side of the planet anyway. But unfortunately they do, and we learned that not only did all of the Americans in Greenland survive, which is a kick in the fucking nuts, but also Australians survived.
Yeah.
Beirut survived.
of all the fucking types of people that we could possibly have surviving the apocalypse, why would you have it be the Brits that have had their brains cooked?
Yeah.
And worse fucking still, there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
no.
Oh, actually, hang on. Before we get to that, so like we cut to 9 months later, like we get a transmission that Helsinki is still around, so some Finns have survived. But the doors go open because like the radio just says, "Oh, there's no radiation." No, we won't need that explained to us. Also, Sydney, which we just saw, was like a blasted shell, but Radio Sydney still on the horn. And then New Delhi, also still around. Moscow, which is cool and good. Beirut, cool and good. And Kathmandu, which also cool and good. Those are good places.
Yeah, the bunker doors open, and the first thing you hear is war. War never changes.
Yeah.
Can I just say...
They see a bird?
2 birds, actually. Like, probably fucking. Yeah. So, like, that's
There's
how you know
also,
the plan's going to be fine.
Yeah, and also, like, so they're also all wearing exactly the same clothes as they were previously, in better condition than when they went in wearing them.
Oh,
and
look at you examining the film. Like,
well, also, the little kid who's got diabetes has been locked up for, what was it, 9 months without supply of insulin?
No, I swear to God, you see, as they're getting into the bunker, you see, like, Jerry's got that fucking bag of drugs with him.
Yeah, there's no way he's got like a 9 month supply, though. Yeah.
I just gave him a biscuit sometimes, it's fine.
Yeah. The next film, which it was always envisioned as a 2-part series, by the way.
It was always envisioned as a 2-parter.
Yes. Under the title Greenland Migration. The film is slated to continue where its predecessor left off, following the destruction of the world as we know it via an extinction-level asteroid collision. The Garrity family would emerge from their Greenland-based shelter along with other survivors in order to start rebuilding in the burnt-down wasteland. I am so excited for a Jerry Race War film with migration in the title.
Fallout Greenland.
Yeah, they take their shitty car to the wrong pass and just immediately get stung to death by the mutant wasps. It's going to be a very short movie.
Yeah, Gerard Butler starts the NCR.
Points given to the film for not having a British radio, come on, at the end.
That's
signalling that no one in Britain survived. Points off the film for not showing me that no one in Britain survived, though. Like, I wanted to see ashes. The best bit of a disaster film is seeing London ablaze.
Was there not like when they showed that? When they panned out to show the world at the end, was there not like fucking a big crater where we used to be?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so, no. I didn't see any of that, at least. I mean, I was certainly looking for it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like I saw one or anything. I just wasn't paying fucking attention. But just wondering if anyone else had been.
No, unfortunately not. I can't remember seeing that. I would have remembered seeing it.
Anyway, by way of sort of wrapping this up, what we've learned is that apart from, your own family and your own divorced dad fists, do not trust humanity because they will turn into lawless monsters. Scream at the military long enough and like customer service, you'll get what you want. That's how that works. So, congratulations. We've learned a lot today.
Yeah. Also, the military is just doing its job, and it's very rude of you to ask it not to, even when it's also inconvenient to you.
I mean, we kind of skipped over the racial politics of the film because they're there, and again, they're not very subtle. But it's just why fucking bother? Like it's Jerry Race Wars. You get what it says in the tin. So
yeah. I was a bit more concerned with the whole just genocided disabled element of it, which is just not even slightly or lightly commented upon.
One of my problems with this is at the end, essentially they magic away the diabetes, and just make it it's not a real disability. And it's doubly offensive. It's doubly offensive from this perspective.
You can resolve diabetes with diet and exercise. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe they had mindfulness in the bunker.
Yeah, if you're having a blood sugar attack from your diabetes, have you considered just having a nice warm bath? that usually clears it up.
Have you considered that if you are having like a diabetic coma coming on, fight through it so you can get out there and publish the story and reveal all the evil that Tony Blair's been up to? Like, I'm assured that works from recent literature we've been covering.
Oh dear.
Anyway, that was, unless anybody's got some final thoughts, that was yet another...
All I have to report to you all is that you'll be glad to know that I don't have any secret Jerry Race War films in reserve anymore. This was the last one that I had to offer out, so you are free of the curse for now.
Yeah, you'll never
until
really
Greenland 2 comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of have to do Greenland migration now at this point.
Oh yeah,
don't
we are definitely going to do that.
Yeah, there is no way we're not. I don't even care. It could be the most mid film ever. We're still going to spend an hour and a half talking about it. I don't care.
Yeah, and like you are probably going to be listening to it, much like you will also be subscribing to our Patreon, because very frankly, if you don't, you're not getting raptured into our secret bunker either. So go to patreon.com/praxiscast, and for £5 measly a month, you too can be saved, and in the vault there are hidden episodes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. Are the streams back again?
Jamie's still injured, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, streams are not back again, but it is getting cold, so go to praxiscast.tbill.com and buy a hoodie, so Jamie can buy some physical therapy, and also so, you are warm.
Otherwise he's not getting on the plane.
Yeah, that's right. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Without the hoodie and your ID, you're also not getting on our rescue plane, so, up to you. And that is it for us for another week of Podcasting as Practice. So, goodbye.
Yeah, lucky us, but luckier you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.